Welcome to a muzzled chat. What are we, Wednesday?
Yep, Wednesday.
So I have a very special guest on this beautiful Wednesday. Everyone, welcome Josh.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Josh is an amazing man. Every opportunity I get to spend some time with Josh, I just soak it up. He's got a lot of wisdom. You got a lot of positive things to say. You pretty much connect so many things to God. Like, you're a very spiritual man. And I love that about you, that you're not afraid to bring glory to God, say his name. I mean, it's so cool. And it would be obviously awesome to even get your input on some things as to why God is been taken out of the picture in our society, in a sense, or what led people to even being afraid. But it's crazy because leading up to this very episode and conversation chat, I was like, well, hey, keep in mind something that because I this podcast is all about helping you, help me, but most importantly, helping others. So, I mean, what a meek man here, very humble, in it for the right reasons. Because here I am, like, hey, consider some things, and he's got an awesome business and a veteran, right?
Yep, yes.
Man, we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
And he's just like, you know what? Like, when it comes to the conversation of God, how did you word it? I want to do it justice. That it was the most selfless comment. I should have wrote that down. Now I'm kicking myself. All right. Well, anyway, he just wanted to show up purely and not even focus on any plugs, anything, basically to express the love, he has felt. And with that, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, appreciate you having me on, James. Thank you again. I'm honored. Um, I'll kind of start early on in my childhood because I believe that's when I kind of formed into who I am now. So, at early age, at 8 years old, my dad took his own life. My dad was a heavy alcoholic. From the things he saw in Vietnam, his business started to fall apart. Um, and at his weakest moment, the enemy came and convinced him that he's better off dead.
Wow.
And unfortunately, he took his own life right in front of my own mom.
No kidding.
He shot himself right in front of my mom. I was 8 years old, second grade.
And enemy, you're talking about the devil.
That's right.
Evil.
Satan.
I mean,
many names he goes by.
Isn't it? Yes. Isn't it crazy? The more you seek truth in this life, like me personally, that sorry, my brain just ping-ponged quite a bit there. I jumped from, and you know what? I just want to scratch all that because it is a humbling truth. I actually just had a phone call yesterday with a friend where we just lost another loved one riding a bicycle and getting hit by a vehicle. And not to take away, like to get back into what you were just talking about, like it's holy moly. Like, I guess I'm just touching on that, how profound all these experiences are that we are all just visiting here. And as we seek understanding, like how the Bible reigns so truthful. And with hearing that, what you just shared about your dad, it just resonates on a level personally for me with where I'm at on my spiritual journey. Like, just so true that Bible phrase that our battle is not of the flesh here, that it is of, spiritual principalities and
That's right.
Man, Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. My heart instantly goes out to you, your family, your mom. Like that's a situation you really wouldn't wish on anyone.
My mom really buckled up when that happened. As many people know, you could fall into the drug realm. You could
Hmm.
also pick up a bottle and start drinking yourself. God, why did you do this? Why did you leave me with
Right.
4 kids? Thinking with my mom's perspective, what am I going to do? How am I going to get through this? My dad was obviously the breadwinner of the family. You know, he had a small little business, and for her to just wake up one day and, you know, her husband's gone. You got 4 kids. You're by yourself. So I just kudos to my mom. What she did, she really just buckled down and gave it all to the Lord. I mean, we would go to church twice a week when
Wow.
there was revivals and special things in town. We would go. We went to counseling with the church. Outside the church, we went to counseling. In a way, it kind of brought us together even closer when once my dad passed,
Wow.
and her spiritual growth just grew because you can go the world's way to
Right.
numb the pain, or you can do it God's way, and she did it God's way. And to see that as a young child and to grow up with that struggle that my mom was carrying for all of us. I mean, she wasn't home a lot, but she was working 2 3 jobs most of the time to pay the bills.
Right.
And my older sisters kind of took care of us, and they also worked. And then I started working at an early age, but it showed me work ethic, hard work, and most of all, it showed me to put my foundation on the Lord when calamities and tragedies hit. You give it all to the
Wow.
Lord.
What an example. Shout out to mom. Uh, what strength. And that's what's interesting. Like, why? And personally, do we tend to so often, to our own detriment, choose that other road of cursing God, of why could there be a God, in all these life situations, he clearly isn't there for us, it doesn't love it, and go down this. But hmm that, that's giving into the enemy. That's essentially setting you down a road that is to your own detriment versus, hey, giving the other a fair shake. And obviously it could be viewed as a stronger road, and like we could give her praise, and it's just beautiful because obviously it's having an effect on so many others and you personally. But
Yeah, oftentimes we're not going to see why we're in the fire until sometimes we're out of the fire, or sometimes we're not going to know
right.
the reason why until we're in heaven with the Lord and God says, "This is why I allowed this. This is why I allowed that." We're It's hard to question God when He knows ultimately what's best for us.
Right.
And to capitalize on what you're saying about how you just lost your recent friend, where we're here today, we're gone tomorrow. The Bible says our life is like a mist, it's like a vapor. It appears for a brief moment and then it's gone compared to eternity. So that's why it's so important for you to walk with the Lord, to know Him as your personal Savior, to endure the attacks, the snares, the traps of the enemy,
Mm.
and to just encourage your faith and your walk to stay close. Especially nowadays, you can see what's where do we where do you even start just to say what's going on with the world today, the state of the world. It's
100%, you're hitting on something so profound there. But so many people dwell on the pain, victimization, as the world would have you do, versus fulfilling why we're even here, which is seeking truth and seeking why we're here. Because we know inevitably, as I hit things, uh, we're all visiting, right?
that's
And
right.
and this friend, I mean, it's been so humbling. Like I haven't even fully absorbed that I literally found out last evening, um, kind of late last night, and yeah, I'm gonna need to spend the time, go through the pictures, send some things out to the family, and all that's in the works right now. But that's that's a second loved one, a second man, um, in my life that I know personally, I guess it's an inevitable truth we're all going to experience. Like more, the further we go down this path, more tragedies and unexpected events and illnesses and things are going to happen. But that's the second young gentleman I know within the next month that was just horrifically taken. Be careful out there on the roads, people. Oh my goodness,
Amen.
those tin cans. Who our kind of modern technological advances got us so comfortable in there. We become just we start staring even at our phones as though, oh, so we're literally driving this tin can at 65 miles an hour, not even looking at what we're doing, staring into a device. Like, stop it. Oh my goodness.
I
Like,
and I believe the top three killers right now is it's heart disease, cancer, and car accidents.
is that right?
Car accidents is right up there with taking people's lives.
All right, say that one more time. You
I
said,
believe it's heart disease,
okay.
cancer, and car accidents.
Oh my gosh. Heart
It's
disease.
or car related. You're a pedestrian, get hit walking
Yep,
on
right.
a bike, and
Both, yep, or
or like
vehicle
your friend was being
accident.
a hero
Right.
about on the freeway over here, somebody got in a car accident, and your friend went to assist,
Yes.
and unfortunately,
He got
uh,
got clipped by a passerby. That I mean, that's where for me it's like, yeah, we humanly out of curiosity want to know, like, what the heck, like,
yeah,
he was with another close friend that excuse me, thankfully survived the whole incident. um But yeah, our other friend wasn't so lucky. But they were in a large truck with the hazards on, and pulled over in the little buffer next to the HOV, and it's just like, to assist in this accident they just witnessed. It's just wild. Like, so yeah, humanly curiosity kicks in. We just want to know how can someone do that? Were they under the influence or this or that? We'll come to find out there supposedly was no drugs in that gentleman's system. I don't even know if it's a gentleman or a man, but anyway, it's
well,
beside the
stupidity can be a
right.
drug in a way where people are just careless or not thoughtful, or like you said, the distractions of the cell phone, the radio, someone's eating, changing the radio station.
That's, I guess, the
It's
point I was trying to get to right
yeah,
there is the facts on this matter in a way are irrelevant other than that truth. Like, hey, we just get it's. I mean, they're sound controlled and air controlled, volume controlled, and it gets so comfort. Oh, in the
mm-hmm.
lumbar. I mean, shoot, there's massagers now in those things and air
Yeah,
conditioned seats, heated seats. So people just get so comfortable and they just kind of become ignorant to how dangerous or complicit to how dangerous the actual thing is. So hey, let's all be safe. But once again, like, to bring it back, like, more important than even being safe is in ensuring we're all doing our part as to why we're here. And it's interesting for me, and that's where Josh, I'd love to know more on your end. And obviously, you just start kicking it off, like with your mom's great example as to why you or have been getting drawn. And yeah, it would be awesome to touch more on that, because I know personally as to why I keep giving more time and effort and energy to God. Because I mean, that that payout to that time, that pursuit, I can't even effectively put into words how blessed that pursuit has been for me. Um, so yeah, if you want to just touch on that a bit, or continue on with what brought you to where you are today, you know?
yeah, and to go along with what you're saying, if you draw yourself close to God, He will draw close to you. If you seek Him, you will find Him. You got to put in the effort to grow. Like relationships, they require effort. You're gonna get what you put into it. You have to seek Him and pray and find Him. And as I grew up a Christian my whole life. Became in my early 20s. I kind of took a step back and I wanted to know, okay, what is it that I believe? Is this what I believe is this truth. And I looked at Hinduism, I looked at Buddhism, I looked at Jehovah's Witness, the LDS, Latter-day Saints, Mormonism. I looked into all these religions,
Mm.
and this is just barely in the early 2000s. You know, the internet's barely there, so a lot of it was books and doctrine. And if you dissect and you compare them to the Bible about what God is and what He's done, and you just compare them with an open heart and open mind, you will find truth.
Mm.
And that's what I ultimately came right back to the Bible, to God. I encourage everyone that has doubts about if there's God, who's God, and only one person said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody comes to God except through me, and that was Jesus. And I want to say there's over, I think Jesus completed over, I want to say it was 600, there's 300 or 600 prophecies he completed. 1/3 of the Bible is prophetic prophecy. And most of the prophecies have already come true. So what religious doctrine, that you can think of that has accurately predicted the future to the T?
Mm.
And there's only one book I can think of, and that's the Holy Bible. So that's
Wow.
something you can take to the bank.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, it's worth pondering, research, and looking into. And that's just it. With faith, it's everyone's personal journey. And by design, just like that's why I'm so anti-tyranny and tyrannical rule and dictatorships and communism
Mm-hmm.
in this life. I'm on fire.
Yeah,
I'm fighting back.
trying to conform us, control us.
Yes.
Say, look, you need to think this way.
Yes.
That they're, trust the science, like they like to push the
Right.
narrative in everything, not
Right.
just one specific topic or subject. It's this way or the highway. This is the only way to think.
Right.
And then if you are against this way of think, then you're a terrorist. You're anti-American. You're uninformed. You're a deplorable.
And that's where I feel, in a way, in that sense, because to me, I just grasped that, you brought it in beautifully to just understanding, right? Where a lot of believers, if you will, kind of go about it in a wrong sense and trying to instill their beliefs on others too, and it could lead to uh, the the opposite intended effect. Where it could actually lead to church hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Where people get turned off to doing that personal walk. And that's why I view all these different churches like you were talking about and religions. I view it all beautiful in a way because, and I love them, and I don't like to slander not a single one of them to a degree, because at the end of the day, it's kind of just like, well, is that, let's just, that group or that organization, that church, that religion, whatever label you want to put on it, is it in fact turning people onto the book? Is it in fact having people on their knees and building and establishing that personal relation and understanding any level that they wouldn't have been doing on their own? Like, that's to
Right.
be praised, because the reality, like, as I've looked into it, it seems as though there's true saints, true believers, true people like
Right.
seeking to walk in Christ's footsteps and help live in a
Yeah.
selfless nature.
Well,
And
just like you got to vet your news nowadays. You got to almost filter it. You got to research what you're seeing. You got to vet and
right,
research your churches. And just like there's good people, there's
right,
bad people. There's good churches and there's bad churches. There's churches that will teach you false doctrine. They'll take you down the wrong path. There's churches that'll keep you stagnant and you won't grow. And if you want to grow in your relationship with the Lord, you need iron that sharpens iron. You
mm,
need more than just milk. You need the meat, like it
right,
says in the Bible.
right,
You have to do the work and pray and fast and say, God, is this a good church for me? Is this where I should be? And sometimes you got to go and just church hop and look and ask people, hey, is this a good church? Is this a bad church? And just go and seek it out.
Wow. To all you viewing, to all you listening, I hope and pray that this resonates because I'm excited on your behalf to put the time, put in that effort, spend that time on your knees, seek this for yourself. I'm so excited because like I'm feeling the spirit here today. I'll be honest. And it's just confirming it's in a way, it's building that faith in a way. Like and it's a forever pursuit. It's a forever work. We're never fully going to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a character
Yeah,
flaw.
we're always
Yeah.
going to be a work in progress.
Yes.
With our faith, with our walk,
Everything.
with our life, with our career. In my early 20s, when I was like a junior AC technician, my old boss had me fill out this survey. Right, it's basically 1 through 10. 1 needs improvement. 10 you're doing great, and I filled out nines and tens. He gave me a self evaluation. I filled it out to get a raise, and he I fill it out. He comes in, he starts looking at it, and he says, "So, Josh, you're telling me you can't improve in this area? You're already a perfectionist in this."
Oh
I
wow.
was like, "Oh." And then he says, "Oh, how about this area? This area? This you're telling me you can't get any better?" I'm like, "Oh." That was humbling. So that really taught me that you never know it all. You're never an expert. You're never going to have perfection. You're always learning. Things are always changing too. You can learn something today, and a couple months from now, it's irrelevant. It's expired. You know what I mean? You can be a VCR technician,
Right.
TV repair technician. Those industries. Vacuum repair used to see on the corner all the time. We'd play. A lot of that stuff's gone with the wind.
Right.
It's so
Right.
hard to see some of these trades and things. Technology's changing. I mean, cassettes, CDs, DVDs. I mean, look, Best Buy just announced they're not gonna sell. I think it's DVDs and Blu-rays by the end of the year. They're going away with that type of media. It's just crazy.
Yeah, considering we're sitting in a hunting rig where I often end up out of service, I still resort to some DVDs. I don't got a V I don't have a VHS player in here, but there's a DVD player just for them. It was more so catering to when I was dysfunctional out there, and there were some days even it would exhaust me just getting out there, and I'd make it out there, and I'd be kind of bedridden out in the woods.
Oh yeah.
So I'd resort to the Bible and some silly entertainment, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But anyway, that's all beside the point here. Um, this is awesome. I Guys, let me know what you think. I believe Josh should be a repeat guest. This is awesome. We're not even scratching the surface, no doubt, as to your personal story here and as to what all has triggered. I am curious because you've mentioned on a number of accounts now in our conversations about like fasting and everything. Like personally, I it's something I'm interested because that would be a next level. I've dabbled with like here and there with intent and prayer on behalf of someone ill or suffering, like including fast into the prayer and stuff. But I mean, to be honest, it's just something I haven't really tried, especially on the level you have. So tell me a bit about that and some of the experiences you've had with that. I mean, you're on one now.
Yeah, I'm currently on 16 days right now. I'm going
Wow.
to 21 day fast. Uh, Saturday will be 21 days. Today's Wednesday for you guys at home. So I've only fasted 3 times in my life. Um, the first time I fasted was when my daughter was born. She's now 12. So this was literally about 12, 13 years ago. So I had a daughter, and me and the mother, everything was going great. I mean, we were together for 4 years, and she found out she was pregnant. 2 weeks later, there was literally like a wall just went up, and she wanted nothing to do with me. She didn't want to talk to me. She didn't want me around. this tore me apart. This is my first child. You know, we were talking about getting married. Everything was going great. And then all of a
Mm.
sudden, she just wants nothing to do with me. This is the time to rejoice, to be celebrate. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit nervous and stuff.
Oof.
This was her third child. She already had two
Oh,
kids,
really? Okay.
two boys from another relationship. They were like, I think 6 and 7 at the time. They were pretty close in age, two boys, and we're having a daughter. And then she just threw up this wall, and it just broke my heart. Like I was dying,
Mm.
emotionally, spiritually. So I just gave it all to God. I said, God, what do I do? Like,
Mm.
so I remember in the Bible, you know, uh, to seek God wholeheartedly, pray, and fast. Because there's certain demonic strongholds that can only be overcome by prayer and fasting.
Mm.
So it's petitioning the Lord with basically everything you got. You just say, God, I'm going to give up the food. I'm going to give up the alcohol, any kind of sin, fornication. But the main thing is you give up the food. And I just drank during that I did a 2 day fast. I just drank water at that time, just drank water and prayed. And it wasn't easy, because here I am doing, construction, air conditioning, commercial buildings, working, and you're getting a full workout at work. So I'm drinking waters. Well, I get a dream from God. God revealed to me why this wall came up around, and it just blew my mind. She was fooling around with the neighbor kid, and when I say kid, he was underage at the time, a young
Oh
kid.
my goodness.
And here I am, 24, 25 myself. She's 24, 25, and I just blew my mind. God showed me, and then it was just like, wow. And then that kind of gave me peace in a way because I knew why. I just, only some things God can tell you and expose to you and reveal to you in His timing and His way, if it's His will. And He did. He showed me that, and I'll never forget that. That was the first time I ever fasted. I was crying every day after work, crying before bed because I wanted nothing more than to be with her, to have that relationship, to be a
Wow,
family.
what a challenge.
And because of my dad passing at an early age and losing my dad, I wanted to be involved because I know firsthand, man, there was trips at church. They would be like, "Hey guys, we're having a father and son camp out." And I'm like, it just broke my heart as a young kid
Mm.
because there really wasn't a real male figure in my life at the time. My dad was gone and things like that. And this kind of things you want to do with your dad is go camping, do Boy Scouts, throw the ball around, but I wasn't going to be that absent father. I've had many friends, people I know that their dad just disappeared. He didn't want to be a father. Because that's another thing the enemy wants to do. The enemy wants to remove the father from
So
the family,
true. So true.
so he can attack and because we're near it's a family element. That's the love of Christ is a family element, and the enemy wants to remove the father
Mm.
because he's the spiritual leader of the household, and then he attacks everybody one on one. He attacks the father, and he attacks the mother, and he gets the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then gets them all in these snares, traps, addictions,
Mm.
and just starts destroying them.
That brings to light uh, essentially so much as to why the world is the way it is today. I mean, with the information age, Satan, evil, has been so effective in essentially creating all this confusion, taking God out of it, taking truth out of it.
There's so many studies and even clinical, you name it. They researched. Look at the population of the prison inmates for one. That's one area you can look at. I think it's about 80%, 80%, if not more. I might be wrong, 70%, but at least 70 to 80% of the people, the male prisons, their father was just not around. He was
Mm.
in drugs. He died. He passed away. You name it. And then some moms don't know who the father is.
Right.
They're living a promiscuous lifestyle, and they say, "Hey, I don't know who the dad is." Some some of their moms were selling themselves on the streets and stuff, and grew up in drug homes. I mean, it's so sad. The father is the foundation of the household, and that's the reason why the enemy attacks the families and the father so hard.
Mm.
And then I'm sure it's very similar to the statistics on the women. Where's their dad? And then
Right.
there's a sad, sick joke about the strippers. the ladies that their dad's gone. What do they call them? Like fatherless.
Scarlet or yeah,
Yeah, they daddy issues. Like to
daddy
say
issue.
daddy.
Yep.
Look, they got daddy issues because their dad was never there.
Right.
It's just kind of a sad thing. It just
Hmm.
breaks my heart.
Amen. Yeah, it's a sad truth, but with I mean, in a way, it'd be hard to say with that type of heavy sadness, what have you, like show gratitude in a way, because individually, like that's kind of what God has helped instill in me, that no matter how dark or sad or what have you, there's silver lining to that. And I mean, what's good, what's light, what's pure without the darkness, without all that, So I feel this grand, beautiful design that it's almost far too complex for us truly to grasp. But the more we seek that spiritual nature of things, we tend to just get the feelings of understanding and oh my gosh, like, and it just opens the eyes and heart to really just kind of viewing things in a different light. And and instead of, like, I know personally, instead of it being so doom and gloom and playing into that victim mentality again, uh every challenge like poses this beautiful, beautiful, precious opportunity, and just to seize that, that's where perspective, and I feel humanly, I could have tried to gain that perspective through education and all the means here in the mortal realm, and never really made much headway. But through seeking the spiritual nature of things, there's like this vast, great understanding, and it's shifted, and it's had this profound impact on my perspective to seize those moments, challenge accepted, and have excitement towards it. It's been quite the blessing. What are some additional challenges that you might personally have for, let's say, a listener to strengthen faith, or even possibly a unbeliever to look into for like the first time, that might help bring peace or whatnot?
Oh, the first thing is just realize you can't do it all on your own. You just let the pride go. Be humble
Pride. Yeah.
and just say, God, I need you. God, I'm here. God, I'm listening. Give me direction, Lord. Give me wisdom. And